Welcome back. It's lovely to know that you are still tuned in here for the Diary Lounge on DreamTV and BTV. My name is Berenji Stella. I'm here with Alex Simba. We get to stream on www.imc.ug. That means you can get to watch us in the comfort of your office or in the cars you drive to work or for school dropouts. Wherever you are, you do not have to be seated in front of your TV to catch us. But also we have the Doxa app, DOXA, that you can get especially on your Android to be able to watch and listen into Impact FM as well. Of course, we get to continue, and this time around we go to South Sudan. Now, they have said, and this is a statement they put on X, formerly Twitter, that they are going to be sending, South Sudan government say they will be sending a delegation which will aim to address the repatriation of about 137 South Sudanese nationals currently subject to deportation orders from the USA. So they are going to be sending them in efforts to appease the tensions there within. Now, the tensions arose after a man named Makula Chintu, an alleged Congolese deportee, was denied Omukongo. Gamba no Omukongo.
Nodda akiriko Omukongo.
Really?
Naye Omusudani.
Nze ndaba bombi Makula Chintu. Deportee was denied entry at Juba International Airport. Now, the man had been expelled from the U.S. on April 5th. Washington had accused Juba of refusing to take in its own citizens. So South Sudanese authorities have since allowed Chintu to enter the country, but the incident has caused a crisis with the U.S. You keep on laughing at the name.
Makula Chintu musajja Muganda.
Makula Chintu cannot be even Congolese, I'm telling you.
But Congolese wachi. Naye South Sudanese. South Sudanese, what are their names? Balls maybe chibichi, batuma amanya mazzibu nnyo. Mbu Chintu. Makula Chintu. Kakati, there are other factors in there that need to be thought about. One of them is the diplomacy of dependence. Diplomacy of dependence in the sense that the South Sudanese government for a long period of time has depended upon the U.S. For their existence because they're a new nation. Of course, the U.S. has interest in their oil and so on and so forth. But you see, okay, let me make it even further complicated. Whereas they produce the oil, they do not have infrastructure to be able to export that oil easily.
Right.
So they depend on Sudan, Khartoum, to be able, because the existing infrastructure, it was one country, what do they call it? Osima Mafta, which they get. Then you send it through the infrastructure northwards and to Khartoum until it goes out of the country. Now, Khartoum remained with the infrastructure with no oil.
Yeah.
Then South Sudan remained with the oil, but no infrastructure to get the oil out of the Out of the country. So they still share. They have an oil sharing agreement between them that enables the oil to be able to do what? To get out of the country. But now, the U.S. comes in. Of course, they support the system here and make sure, you guys, you can get your oil and then pass it maybe through Kenya downwards to Mombasa, out of the country through vehicles maybe. It's not as efficient and effective as the other.
Because then it even becomes more costly.
Costly and so on. So those are the things. And so when it doesn't quite work out, you say, na South Sudan tufuna yochi. You get it. If we've been allowing South Sudanese, I told you, remember when we spoke about that and said that for a long period of time, South Sudanese would come to Uganda and inflate situations.
Yeah.
You are in a residential area, houses there cost mitwaro nkaga. When the Sudanese come, they pay 1.8.
Right.
For it. So you end up not having, you get, because of money that was given to them most of the time. They were not having an economic activity there. What were they doing? What were they selling? They didn't have any
growing up, those
economic
guys
so,
were Of course, according to the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, he came out to say that the matter is a question of national security and public safety. So,
now the South Sudanese delegation on their part, they're saying it is okay for you to send people down here, but it is important that you do it in an orderly, legal, and dignified manner. You remember the arrest that we saw when Trump first announced that they were going to do it? It was not dignified. They were like highway robbers.
Yeah, but remember, they were calling them criminals. So that's why. So the way you handle...
Criminality, it depends also. The way you handle an armed robber is not the way you handle a person that has forged a document. You beg to differ.
I'll leave it at that.
Criminal. Linda Ogende.
Not me.
Now, residents of the Democratic Republic of Congo have reacted to President Trump's statement. He came out and said there are many Congolese who go to the U.S. Okay? Now, during a meeting with Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, Trump spoke of curbing migration, and in a statement, he mentioned that many people come from Congo. Now, people accuse Trump of not knowing what he's saying. Yeah, because he said many people come from Congo. I don't know what it is, but they come from Congo and all over the world, and they come into the country. Congo, I think he imagines Congo. Congo must look like, you get. Now, one Kinshasa resident, Jonathan Bawolo, now you see Bawolo and Chintu May, okay, responded to Trump's statement by saying, we're a country that is so rich and we are not selfish. We don't harass foreigners on the streets to ask for their identity papers. Now, contrast that to the US and say, in Congo, the Americans come to steal the wealth of the country. Are they criminals or not? Answer the question, please. Are they criminals or not? Are they harassed or not?
They are not harassed, but yes, they are criminals.
Okay. Now, do you see the difference?
Yeah, but we all know that these differences are there. The same amount that we ask for the visa for them to come into the country, or even the stringent measures, they are more on our side than they are. That's how the world order is.
No,
we could want
that's lack of self-respect. Trade with China instead of with the US.
But we know...
Count on what they have. They have numbers. So you say if a million Chinese can come to Uganda and tour over what? And
what
so
do you mean tour over what?
And China, how many Chinese tourists do you usually have?
No, our... where I deal with, probably they do not deal so much with China, but you can find a company that deals mostly with that with that clientele. Yeah.
And they come to Uganda.
Yeah. What do you
Chinese?
Panagi. I'm sure there could be a company that offers them towards
you know that's not true, and you're laughing at yourself.
I'm not laughing. Well, so you thought only Africans are crying. Turns out Harvard University is suing Trump.
Harvard University is suing the President of the United States and his administration because of a funding freeze that was placed on them. Now, they've filed a federal lawsuit against Trump administration to stop billions of dollars in proposed cuts, okay? Now, the suit filed yesterday, is part of a feud that escalated last week when the elite institution rejected a list of demands that Trump administration had said were designed to curb diversity initiatives and fight anti-Semitism at the school. Now, President Donald Trump froze $2.2 billion. That is about 1.7 billion pounds in federal funding, and also threatened the university's tax-exempt status. They charge money as a university, and they are not charged taxes. He plans to change that. Number two, I come to think of it, I know another institution here in Uganda that, okay, because education is not yet taxable here. Kali. Now, the White House responded later yesterday night and said the gravy train of federal assistance to institutions like Harvard, which enrich their grossly overpaid bureaucrats with tax dollars from struggling American families, is coming to an end. Taxpayer funds are a privilege, and Harvard fails to meet the basic conditions required to access that privilege. Now, there are issues here that may be justified by the Trump administration. Sometimes diversity is misdefined or defined wrongly. But Harvard usually is an institution of bright people. Either extremely bright or extremely rich.
Okay.
Yeah. Extremely bright or extremely rich. They can, however, no, they can't, however. I know somebody who went to Harvard, did their education there, Ugandan, but it was a scholarship. Okay. But the scholarship came because he was extremely bright. Yeah, yeah. So it has to be either you're extremely bright or you are extremely rich. Or in almost all the Ivy institutions in the U.S., they give allowance if your parent went to the institution. Their argument is, I know an institution here in Uganda, actually secondary school, not even an institution, where
they can get them.
Or where
first
you can get access to education because of your history.
Yes.
If your parent went to the school, they say likelihood the brains might be similar. Bring and we see.
You just
but so
my God, there are about 3 schools in Uganda. Just getting access to them, even that small space of a needle has.
And then I will tell you, there are families in Uganda who educate their children in specifically those schools. And they say, if you didn't go to here, then you are not worth sitting on the same table with us.
But that's a good thing. The other time when I went for the Manuela event, a lady was telling us that we should be able to invest in our children going to those schools for just one thing, connections. You could be the brightest and the best person at what you do, and yet no one knows you. Okay, not funny talent you. But just knowing someone can get you into rooms even when you are not
I've
talented.
Discovered that it's not enough.
Being known, having connections.
It's not enough going to the school, because what happens is this. After school, what you do and where you are sometimes determines whether you will hang out with these people. If somebody is the corporate manager of an institution and another, when they gather and you're out of that league, most of the time you won't fit in, or they will not care to invite you. What is Stella doing? And then Stella, meh.
Let me tell you, there is no table that I would not sit.
I am just giving it as an example. I am not saying that.
But here's the thing. You know, schools have those alumni days and things like that. So as long as you have them,
access to that day.
Yes, trust me, that is all you need. You don't need 360 days. No, you only need that one meeting. Yes, for you to come across and be like,
say
oh
while
my God.
Others are speaking.
And say what? But again, it's good to see you.
So what are you into lately?
I'm in media. The next time that corporation has to put out adverts, where will they go?
They will come to you.
Exactly.
Definitely. We'll keep it at that and say it's a brilliant Tuesday morning. How do you forget which day it is on a Tuesday? Because yesterday seemed like a weekend, yet it was already a
it seemed
day.
like a Friday.
Yeah, something like that. So for some people, it's Saturday in their mind, even though it's a Tuesday in reality. Somebody said, is it Monday looks like a what? Then Tuesday looks like what? And so on and so forth.